What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shy, Kelvin, and Jermaine. For everyone who's tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make the show the best that it can be. Now, we're going to pull back the pages, man, to the 1987-1988 NBA campaign. Now, according to today's narrative, the talking heads of the current time would try to convince you when it comes to the Chicago Bulls and when it comes to one Michael Jordan that Michael Jordan didn't win until this team got old and blase until, Scotty got there and whatnot. Okay, let's bring forth a true historical view of all this. And it's all based on facts instead of hyperbole. Well, I should say fact rather than fiction, because that's what we've been listening to for the past 10 years. A lot of science fiction. But let's go back to their rookie year, talking about Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, right? Now, mind you, this is the season where Michael Jordan won his second consecutive scoring title, Defensive Player of the Year, as he became the first player to record 200 steals and 100 blocks in the same season. And if I'm not mistaken, that was his second straight year of achieving those feats. Not to mention All-Star, Game MVP, Slam Dunk champion. Although me personally, looking back on it, I always believe that Dominique Wilkins won the greatest mano-mano Slam Dunk contest in the history of the NBA. I believe Dominique won that. But nonetheless, Jordan, he Slam Dunk champion, All-Star MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, scoring champion. He won league MVP. And the Bulls won 50 games that year. And the toughest division in basketball from 87 probably up until about 91. Really, was the NBA Central Division. You had the Detroit Pistons, Chicago Bulls, Atlanta Hawks, Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because it used to be 6 teams in each division, and there were 4 divisions in the NBA during that time. So you had 24 teams in the league. That was the toughest, most competitive division from top to bottom in the NBA. So the Bulls won 50 games that year with Scottie Pippen, because they want the youth generation of today to believe that Scottie Pippen was Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan was Scottie Pippen. And that's where the science fiction kicks in. Now, mind you, that year, Jordan, if I'm not mistaken, averaged 35 points a game. And he was shooting darn near 55% from the floor. 55%. 35 points a game. And then Defensive Player of the Year on the other end. It's insane how great that man was playing basketball. Okay. So the second best player at that time was Charles Oakley. Now, he did win the rebounding title. He won the rebounding title. I believe that was in 87, the year before. And then in 88, I believe Michael Cage, that played for the Los Angeles Clippers, he won the rebounding title. But nonetheless, Oakley was one of the best rebounders in the league. He'd give you about 12 points a game. You know what I'm saying? He was no slouch. He wasn't like a number 2 guy, right? So here go the statistics of Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant rookie year. Scottie Pippen averaged 7.8 points a game by 3.6 rebounds. Horace Grant averaged 6.3 points a game by 4.5 rebounds. Both averaged about 21 minutes a game. Now, I'm not saying they had a bad rookie season. They had a standard rookie season, right? But if they're going to say that Scottie Pippen saved the day and that it took Scottie Pippen for Michael Jordan to win his first playoff series, and what they don't tell you when they say Jordan lost in the playoffs his first 3 years in the league, they never tell you who he had to go up against. They don't tell you in his rookie year when the Bulls won't even look at as a team to reach the playoffs. He had to go up against the 59-23 Milwaukee Bucks, who from 1981-87 was one of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference behind Boston and Philly, Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers. And the Milwaukee Bucks was the best team of that decade, especially from the beginning up until the middle of the decade, to never reach the finals. They never tell you that. They had a stellar squad. You know what I'm saying? I won't get into all the names of the players who was on that team. And then the next 2 years, he had to go up against the prime Boston Celtics, prime Larry Bird, prime Robert Parrish, prime Kevin McHale, prime Danny Ainge. You had Dennis Johnson. The Boston Celtics team that went 67-15 in 86. One of the, historically, that 86 Celtic team is one of the top 3 greatest teams to ever do. They lost one game at home all year. They lost one game at home all year. And they're going to tell you, you know, in the playoff, when Jordan in game 1 scored 49 points, then he followed it up with his 63-point masterpiece, where he literally scored on every player on the roster, the whole starting 5, and everyone who came off the bench. Jordan scored on everyone. I remember watching that game as a teenager. In all. And they'll say, well, Jordan didn't beat the Celtics. Well, guess what? Nobody was going to beat the Celtics that year. You know why? Because Boston went on to win the championship. You see how easy that is? You see when the logic kick in? You see how crystal clear the agenda is to try to diminish Michael Jordan's career. Well, nobody, you could have stuck any superstar on that Bull team and wasn't nobody going to beat the 86 Celtics. And the defending champion Showtime Los Angeles Lakers wouldn't have beat them either that year. That's how good the Celtics were in 86. But nonetheless, I'm not trying to, get off stride, but I'm just trying to paint a picture as to what Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls had to face. They had to go through the gauntlet. It wasn't like no cakewalks, So when they say, he lost to the Pistons, well, if you look back at it, and the Pistons were a great team. Not taking it away from the Detroit Pistons. They won back-to-back championships. But every year, beginning in this 88 season, where the Bulls defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round in 5 games, Jordan averaged 40 plus. Scottie Pippen averaged about, maybe 10 points a game. But they're going to try to tell you that Scotty's 10 points a game is more important than Jordan's 40. But what I'm saying is, they lost to Detroit in the second round in 5 games. And they came back, and Michael Jordan led them to a 2-1 lead versus Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals in 89 before Detroit implemented the Jordan rules, came back and won that series in 6 games. And then in 1990, both teams won all their home games, and it went the distance, the full 7 games before Detroit prevailed. So it wasn't like the Bulls, man, was like just destroying. Detroit was destroying the Bulls. The Bulls was getting closer and closer year after year after year. So by 91, when they broke through, when the Scottie Pippens of the world and the Horace Grants of the world matured as players, and everybody understood how to play their role at the highest level, then through Michael Jordan's brilliance as a player and his leadership, they won, their first of 6 championships throughout the 90s. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Because like Doug Collins said back in the day, in order to become a champion, you have to get your heart broke first. So I just want to highlight that real quick. I'll talk about this more down the line. Until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.